Hey guys, welcome back. This is another video. Today we're bringing you pure Zodiac. This is a really fun deck. It's been seeing a little bit of meta gameplay, not really much in its pure version, but I felt like today that's what I would like to bring you guys. I did top 3 with this deck. I did get 3rd at our locals, so it is a pretty good deck, really fun. Really interactive for you, not much of your opponent. But let's go ahead and get into the list. Starting off with our monsters, we run 2 Thoroughblade. Thoroughblade's really nice. You get to discard 1 Zodiac card, and if you do, you get to draw a card. And then on top of that, a Beast Warrior Xyz monster with this as Xyz material gains the effect of piercing damage. This card is honestly pretty good. You don't want to use its first effect all that much, and just to play around the Ash Blossom, but if you have to, you have to. And it's not really bad to get a Zodiac monster into your graveyard, and drawing a card is always good. Its piercing damage does come up often. You never know when Dryden has to attack into a defense position monster, and you might as well just not miss out on the damage with that effect. So we'll get into the next card. We run 3 Zodiac Ramrat. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 Zodiac monster in your graveyard except Ram, special summon it, and an Xyz monster that is a Beast Warrior Xyz monster gains this effect when it's attached to it as Xyz material. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a trap or effect that targets this card, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card and negate the activation. So this card protects you from Imperm and other defining traps in the metagame. Sadly, not like evenly matched or anything like that. Just anything that targets you, it can protect it from. Really good card. I play it at 3. Don't really think there's any other reason to play it at anything less than 3. Big booty on top of that. Big defense. So you can make your Dryden have a ton of defense as well. We'll go ahead and get into the next one. 3 Zodiac Cataroost. Cataroost is pretty good. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 Zodiac card in your graveyard except Cataroost, shuffle it into the deck, and then just like the other Xyz monsters or other Zodiac monsters, during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect that targets this card, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card and negate the activation. When it's an Xyz monster gains that effect. So this is your monster negate card. You can protect your Dryden or any other card on top of that. Any of your other Zodiac Xyz monsters on top of that. Really good card. I like to play it at 3. You can switch it around to 2 if you want, but I'm trying to run a fairly little high of a Zodiac package because the rest of the deck is just pretty much hand traps. But we'll go ahead and get into the next card. We run 3 Whiptail. So during either player's turn, you can target 1 Beast Warrior type monster you control, attach this card from your hand or field to it as Xyz material. So you can easily get this if you normal summon it. You can make your Dryden bigger or your anything that you're using bigger. Pretty good card. If this card battles an opponent's monster after damage calculation, banish that opponent's monster. That's its main big effect. You want this attached to one of your Xyz monsters so you can get that big effect, because you just banish something that's recurable that they have, and they just lose that monster unless they have a way to get it out of the banish zone, which decks nowadays do have access to that. Next up, we have 1 Bunny Blast. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one Zodiac card in your graveyard except Zodiac Bunny Blast and add it to your hand. So it's a recurring card, and on top of that, just like the other other Zodiac monsters, if it's attached to an Xyz material Beast Warrior, an Xyz monster that is a Beast Warrior as material, during either player's turn when your opponent activates a spell card or effect that targets this card, you can detach one Xyz material from this card and negate the activation. So it protects you from your opponent's spell cards. So it's not too bad. Spell cards are sometimes relevant, but not too often, so I don't really think running it on top of that has to target the card. So, I mean, it can protect it from Book of Moon and a few other things, which is ran in my local shop, so it's not too bad, but I think we're just running it at 1 is more than enough. Next up, to finish off our Zoodiac package, we run 1 Rapier. If this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 Zoodiac card from your deck to the graveyard. You can send 1 Zoodiac card from your deck to the graveyard. Then once per turn, when this card is attached to an Xyz monster as material, once per turn you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, especially on 1 Zoodiac Rapier from your hand or deck. This card used to be a lot better, but just being at 1 in its own right, this card in Barrage is a 2-card combo Megaclops, so it's not too bad. Still a really good card, but we'll go ahead and move on from our Zodiacs into our hand traps. We run 2 Nibiru. If your opponent starts comboing off, you just drop this rock on them, and sometimes they can combo through it, but a lot of the time they can't get through anything else other than that. It stops a lot of decks. Not right now, so you can switch this off for Lancia if you want, but right now in my locals, Nibiru is still a pretty good card, so I tend to still play it. We run 3 Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. This is for the Eldritch decks and Drytron decks. There's no Drytron decks in my local meta other than my own, but there are some other Eldritch decks, so I do have to worry about Eldritch, and this card is really good. Stops cards from being added to hand or deck from the graveyard or extra deck, especially summon a monster you can control from the graveyard or banish a card from your graveyard. It can just honestly stop all those instances, and Eldritch does a lot of all that, so Ghost Bell is really good right now. Next up is 3 Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre is pretty good. When a monster on the field activates its effect, or when a spell or trap card activates, or already on the field activates its effect, you can discard this card and destroy it. They still get the effect off as long as it's not a spell or trap. But if it stops things like Fafnir or anything like that, or Magical Meltdown for that matter, from them getting to an Alistair or a Drytron spell or trap. On top of that, it also can just get, like, if they normal summon Oviraptor, get the Oviraptor off the field, not to have to worry about it anymore. Of course, you more likely want to Valor that target. But if this is what's in your hand, it's what's in your hand. So 3 of them. We run triple DD Crow. Obvious is obvious. You can discard this card and then target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard. Banish that target. Really good card. Banish their Miscellaneousaurus. Banish anything. I mean, just anything that would have helped them combo off next turn. There's no reason for that to stay in their graveyard while this is in your hand. Or if they go to target a card in their graveyard, discard it, banish their target. Plenty of ways to use this card, plenty of usefulness for it. We run triple Valor. Speaking of Valor, here she is. When your opponent, during your opponent's main phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Then target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate the effects of that face-up monster until the end of this turn. Really good card. You can stop your opponent's plays sometimes dead out with just one Veiler. I play it at 3 just along with my other hand traps. Really good card. We'll go ahead and get into the last hand trap. 2 Ash Blossom Joyous Spring. I want to see it sometimes and not all the time, so that's why I do run it at 2. You can bump this up to 3 if you want by getting rid of one of the Nibiru, but I just kind of like it at 2 in this deck. It is a really good card. Can stop your opponent's plays really well, but I just particularly like it at 2. You can run it at 3 if you want, but that is up to player's choice. We run Triple Book of Moon. This card, you obviously can't pop a monster if it's face down with Trident, but still, this card can stop your opponent outright sometimes by just churning their monster face down. They can't link with it. They can't Xyz summon with it anymore. It's just still a really good card. It's seeing a lot more play, especially in my metagame, so I just kind of had to pick it up and use it. I mean, I got some good use out of it tonight for sure. If they have window on the field, you can just flip it face down, or if they have Vantage Ruler on the field, you just flip it face down, and you can just do what you want from there. Next up, we run Triple Tanki. This card searches out your Zodiac monsters. Since Barrage is at 1, this is your best searcher for the deck. Sometimes you have a handful of hand traps in this, and you better hope you don't get ashed. All I'm saying. It happens, but it is a really good card. Searches out all of your Beast Warrior monsters, and also gives them a small attack boost. So, really good. Run it at 3 since it's your searcher of the deck. Run Triple Pot of Avarice. Target 5 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle all 5 into the deck, then draw 2 cards. Your graveyard fills up really quick, so this card, even in your opening hand, which is why I run 3, is still really good. You just recycle your Xyz monsters, or recycle your regular monsters or hand traps with this card. It's just really good in this deck. I run it at 3, I wouldn't run it at anything less, but player's choice as always. Run 1 Barrage. It's at 1, so we sadly have to run it at 1. You can target 1 face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon 1 Zodiac monster from your deck. You can only use the effect of Zodiac Barrage once per turn. If this card is destroyed by a card effect sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Zodiac Xyz monster you control, attach this card to it from the graveyard to that monster as Xyz material. Really good card. If you have an Xyz monster on the field and you do pop it, you just get it as a free material. So get it as a free material for Trident or any other card that you're using. Really good card. Gets a special summon of Zodiac from deck, so honestly, really good. Really good. 1 Zodiac combo. Target 1 Zodiac Xyz monster you control, attach 1 Zodiac monster from your deck to that Xyz monster as Xyz material. During either player's turn except this turn, this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card then from your graveyard and target 5 Zodiac cards in your graveyard with different names. Shuffle all 5 into the deck, then draw 1 card. So this is just like Pot of Avarice, except you can send it off Rat Pierre. And really good card. It's instead of a draw 2, it's a draw 1. And you have to pick 5 with different names, but still really good. I just play it as a 1-of since you just want to send it off Rat Pierre most of the time, but its first effect can help you out sometimes. Really good card, but that is the end of the main deck. We'll get into the extra deck here. Okay. We'll start out with Trident. So once per turn, you can Exceed summon Trident with just one Zodiac monster you control. All Zodiac monsters have this effect, so I won't go into it from now on. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach one Exceed material from this card, then target one face-up card on the field and destroy it. So she's your pop of the deck. She coming back really helped out this deck. It gave it a lot more interaction with your opponents. You just pop a card on their turn. I mean, anything like that. I mean, you can end with this and Book of Moons set and hand traps in hand, and you can typically stop anything your opponent's trying to do. Next up, we have 2 Zodiac Chakanai. Chakanai is pretty good. You can detach one disease material from this card and special summon one Zodiac monster from your graveyard. So she helps you get into your big boss monster, which is Megaclops. Not a bad card. Obviously, getting Dryden back onto the field with no material isn't too bad, but then you just equip the Zodiac Barrage to it. There's plenty of ways to get more material onto your Zodiac monsters, but it's another way of recycling monsters, and it's not a bad card. 2 Hammer Kong. Hammer Kong is like the Baguska of the deck, and any deck Baguska. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. When your opponent has whenever your opponent cannot target your face-up Zodiac monsters on the field of card effects while this card has Exceed material. Sorry, couldn't think for a minute there. And each turn, at the end phase, you have to detach one Exceed material from this card. So, really good card. It protects your other Zodiac other Zodiac monsters. So I just play it at 2. Most of these monsters you play at 2 to save room in your extra deck. 2 Zodiac Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar allows you to target one Zodiac monster in your graveyard and equip it to a Exceed monster you control and add it as Exceed material. And this is another way to recycle your other Zodiac monsters, or make a Zodiac monster you already have on field bigger by equipping something else to it. Really good card. I run it at 2 once again just to save room in the extra deck. Play 2 Borbo. This card can attack your opponent directly, which helps you get into Zeus and other cards that we run. Most of his usefulness is that, for that matter. Not gonna lie. But really good card on top of that. I mean, just getting in some damage to your opponent is game winning sometimes. The fact that he can attack directly is really good. Gaga Cowboy. Whenever you do go into these, they can help you quite a bit. This is just a rank 4 small toolbox to help your deck out just a little bit if you get into a spot where you need to use these cards. Gaga Cowboy is game winning if your deck's going into time. So I run it at 1 really good card. Digusto Emerald. Target 3 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle 3 into the deck, and then draw 1 card. Honestly, it's another Pot of Avarice. If you can get it out, then you can get it out. Not a bad card at all. 1 number 60, Durgus the Timeless. Skip your next draw phase, then draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. Skip your next main phase 1, also special summon 1 monster from your graveyard in defense position. Skip your next battle phase of your next turn, also double the attack of 1 monster you control until the end of this turn. Really good card. The draw, the special summon, the attack boost. If you're going to be able to OTK your opponent, then you're going to be able to OTK your opponent with this card. Sometimes it's useful. I don't go into it too much, but really good card to have in as a toolbox. One Divine Arsenal Zeus. So this card is really crazy right now. Just detach 2 from it and send everything on the field to the graveyard except itself. Really good card. I just run it at 1. You can run it at 2 in this deck if you honestly wanted to, but I just run it at 1. We'll go ahead and get into the Link monsters. One Asa the Earth Charmer. This is used mainly in the mirror match. You can special summon your opponent's Earth monsters from their graveyard to this card, or to a Link zone this card points to. It's a really good card in the mirror match specifically, but that's why I run it. We have another Zoodiac deck in the in our meta game, so I do run it at 1 just for the mirror match. One Infinitrack Fortress Megaclops. So this card's pretty crazy. Is your big boss monster of the deck. Yep, Dryden is not your boss monster. Infinitrack is. Unaffected by other card effects except those of Xyz monsters. Cannot be destroyed by battle except with an Xyz monster. You can target one Xyz monster in your graveyard and one card your opponent controls. Special summon that monster from your graveyard, and if you do, attach that opponent's card to it as material. Also, for the rest of the turn, any damage your opponent takes is halved. This card's really good. It can help you just break your opponent's field, and I love it. I run it at 1. There's no more than what you need other than that, but really good card. So guys, that is the deck profile for Zodiac Pure. Yeah, we run a lot of hand traps in this deck, but it's a lot of fun. Really interactive for yourself, if anything. Just being able to tell your opponent no a lot of the time is kind of fun in this game. But next time, we'll see y'all next time. Have a good one. Bye.